that we are the American Indians. Copper color Indians, baby. A real Indian, American Indian is me, not from Africa. Remember,
African Americans here, but they recently moved here from places like Kenya, Ethiopia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Zaire. But now the brother whose family's lived in this country for generations, occupying space in all the locations, New York, Miami, LA, Detroit, Chicago, even if he's wearing a dashiki and sporting an afro. And if you go to Africa in search of your race, you'll find out quick, you're not an African American. You're just a black American in Africa taking up space. Why you keep trying to attach yourself to a continent where even if you got the chance to go and you went, most people that wouldn't even claim you as one of them.
And we are not Africans. We are not African. Are you an African? I'm not no African. Nigga, you a lying motherfucker. Nigga talking about.
ISO. Dama.
Hey, there's so many lies, so many lies. Hey, there's so many lies, so many lies. Yo, there's so many. Hey, there's so many. Yo, there's so many. Yo, there's so many lies. Look in my eyes, they know I'm the truth. They know that. Knocking them down every time I step in the booth. We ain't gotta lie, they know we the vibe, we living in proof. It's young conscious, shoot my life a movie, I live in a spoof. Ain't no sticking around, I'm on the move, I'm checking the dudes. Yeah, it's only us two, so you know we copping that coupe. We on the roof, smoking dope, look at the view. Yeah, we used to chill on the stoop, now we out here breaking the news. It ain't what you really could do, cause we ain't got nothing to lose. We ain't switched side with no cruise, we just stayed out of the loop. Now we out here letting it loose, every shot we took it was swoosh. Gotta get it, ain't no excuse, ain't left to prove. Hey, yeah, hey, there's so many lies, so many lies. Hey, there's so many lies, so many lies. Yo, there's so many, hey, there's so many, yo, there's so many.
Yeah, ask them a real question, yeah, I bet it's all lies. Hey, they won't cross that line for a fact that's offsides. Hey, too much penalties when they run this back, yeah, it's fines. Hey, could've been here with us, but we do not force no vibes. Hey, she gon' ride the whip and let me park it in the driveway. They just want the praise like they Yahweh. Getting so much bread, yeah, the ride way. We done already won, yeah, that's worth the ride way. But they still lying right through their teeth, and they still hiding behind many troops. They was D9, watch my every move, tell them keep fine. Leave that shit on scene, I ain't replying. Less I know you, that don't mean I'm Hollywood. That just mean I'm Hollywood. All y'all, I probably stood on the falls, all cause. More times I probably should. I don't know nobody like us. You see how much time it took.
Yeah, hey, there's so many lies, so many lies, so many lies. Hey, there's so many lies, so many lies, so many, there's so many, hey, there's so many, yo, there's so many.
Hey, there's too many lies. Hey, yeah, ISO, Indies, Dama. ISO, Dama.
Yep, it is. It's too many damn lies. And that's a fact. Smash the like button, y'all. Smash the like button. And I'm going to be as professional as I can on this topic because it's been real rough. It's been real different for me and YouTube when it comes to Moors. I'm serious. And this is an issue for me. And it's still an issue for me of believing that we are Moors. And I still have not found enough research or the research that's been presented. I can't digest. It's like acid reflux. And I'm keeping it a buck. And I'm sorry. A1 says he's not mad. I watched the debate last night on Bab's channel and I paid $20 and I'm always financially supporting the YouTube content creators, when I can. And I always think about them. But everything that's presented, and I know, you can't believe everything that somebody taught you, even if they are from our community. You have to check my shit. All the content creators that I, watch, they say, don't believe me, look it up and, research. And that's a fact. Dane says that all the time. Top Cat says that all the time. Chief Holiday says that all the time. I say it all the time. Everybody I watch, Empress Holbert, we all say, you don't believe us, look this shit up. And we also say, you can't make this shit up when we found some really damaging evidence. And it seems that to me, and A1 is really cool. I don't have any, I love my brother, and that's a fact. But just because you love somebody, don't believe you mean every fucking thing that they say and teach. And yes, he's been in the YouTube world for probably 20 years, maybe even more. I don't know. But I know it's been for a very long time. Him and Chief Holiday, you know, I get that. But just because someone like myself, this is my 5th year, it doesn't mean that because you haven't been in the YouTube world that your credentials or you're too stupid to look for shit on your own because the information you find is not more valuable than mine. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, you came in here and we're talking about history. We all are researching history. And what really boils my blood is when someone tries to gets upset because you don't find their information holding the weight that it should hold, especially when you your own self find something that is more believable than pictures and that you find, you know. And I'm not saying A1 is not a master, in what he's teaching. He's an excellent teacher. And um, I maybe debating is not his thing. Maybe it should be what Cuddy said. He should really be lecturing and teaching. Some people have strong points and some people have weak points. Some people have phenomenal information, right? But they don't put it to the forefront in a convincing way. And I kind of think Cuddy like hit it on that when he says that. When it comes to A1, he has a lot of invaluable information. He really does. But the topic of the question of the debate, I just didn't feel that it answered the question we needed to hear. And that was, are Moors from America? It was more so trying to prove that we are Moors as a people. And I just did not vibe with the evidence that he presented. That's all. And I can agree. And another thing about why I have such difficulty dealing with us being Moors is because I don't want to be identified with the Moors that are doing these horrible things to people's lives. And I mean, um, from squatting in their homes. I don't want to be identified as that. And I know that that's not me. And I know that those aren't the Moors that history speaks about when you're talking, especially in colonial times. If anything, Moorish behavior that we see today with people squatting and putting liens against judges and shit like that, I see for that behavior back in the colonial times was practiced by settlers coming over here squatting on lands. Okay, I've never, and even in my history as a young child, I never learned about. The only thing I ever learned about when it came to squatters are when um, foreigners came over here and settled on lands and they were squatting. That's where I learned the term squatting from. I didn't learn that from our people, okay, doing this type of behavior in colonial times. Okay. I still don't believe that we're Moors now. Maybe a year or two ago, maybe 2 years ago, I um did go back and find a Moor school in Connecticut. But these were not um the founders of the school weren't Moors, as in our people being Moors. The founder last name was Moore, and he was a white man, and he was British. And I want to that's the only time 2 years ago is really the first time in history that I found something in Connecticut. Two, maybe 3 years ago about this Moore Indian Charity School. But Moore doesn't mean that the Indians were the Moors. No, it was a white man from Britain who opened the school to teach Pequot Indians. So they named the school of the founder of the last name of the British guy. And we're going to read about that shit. That doesn't mean that these Indians are Moors. It means that they the school was opened and named after someone with the last name Moore. And that's it. We didn't have Moore as a spelling word in school. And that's a fact. All we had as a spelling word as it relates to the original people of this land, is the word Indian. That's all we ever learned. I never learned the word automaton or those names. We never had that as a word neither. And that's a fact. And Aboriginal, we didn't have that as a school word, a spelling word in school. The spelling word we had in school was Indian. That was it. So I want to read about this Moore School in Connecticut, which is not very far from me, from the town that I live in. And so you could see how the school got its name, not because they're teaching Moore Indians that were identified as Moors. They were teaching Pequots and Mohegans Indians. And this is the part where I told you that a lot of our words in the English language was created in collaboration with the British. With the majority of a lot of the words are our Indian words. They had to have some kind of common ground on communicating for trading purposes, linguistics. So let me read about this Moore School before it gets any further and someone throws out, what's this, Bethy? You live right there in Connecticut and they have this Moore School. I'm like, well, hold up, wait a minute. It was named after somebody. Doesn't mean that the Indians were Moors. So let's read that first to knock that shit out the way. And guess what? I learned about this school 3 years ago. I didn't even learn about this school in elementary school. Okay? Because it was so long ago. And bust this shit. Back during that time when this school was created, we had governors that looked like me. And I showed y'all that already. I already showed y'all. So we as a people were in power here in Connecticut. They were governors. For real, for real. I already showed y'all that. But let's read about this Moore School during that same time period. Yeah, I think this is the first one. Yep, this is it. So maybe I could blow it up a little bit and read, about it, because I don't know how much you guys can see, but I'm gonna get over here. It says Moore's Indian Charity School, name variant, Wheelock's School, Indian Charity School. And the address is North Lebanon, Connecticut. That's very close to me. That's actually right by the Foxwoods Casino, Lebanon, when you're going that way. And this is in 1754 to 1769. That's how long the school lasts. And then they had one in Hanover, New Hampshire, where the other Indians are, in 1769 to 1850 is when it closed. All right. So I want to get into it, reading a little bit of it. And it says, Moore Indians Charity School was a grammar school for Native Americans and dodged a hijack because they didn't use the word native back then. Elijah Wheelock opened in North Lebanon, Connecticut in 1754. The school was named for Colonel Joshua Moore. And I hope you guys can see that. Colonel Joshua Moore. That was his name, Moor. The school was named for Colonel Joshua Moore. Can you guys see that? Give me a 1. That the school was named after Colonel Joshua Moore, also spelled More, who donated the land and school building. Let me get back over here and read because it's bigger over here. Moors, Moors, was essentially an expansion of the grammar school that Wheelock opened in 1743 to support himself during the fallout from the First Great Awakening, when Wheelock, who'd participate in internet ministry during the awakening, had his salary confiscated by the colony of Connecticut. They took his money. In December of that year, Sampson Occam asked Wheelock to teach him as well. Wheelock's work with Occam was so successful that Wheelock decided to replicate the experiment with other Native American boys. He accepted his first Indian students in 1754 and in 1761 began taking female students as well. Wheelock believed that in time, this school would become just one part of a larger missionary enterprise. He planned to send the Anglo-American and Native American students to various tribes as missionaries and schoolmasters, with explicit instructions to pick out the best students and send them back to Moors to continue the cycle. His ultimate goal was to turn his school into a model Christian Indian town that would include farms, a college, and vocational training. However, Wheelock's grand design did not survive the decade. Wheelock lost the vast majority of his Native American students. He fought with many of the best, including Sampson Occam, Joseph Johnson, David Fowler, and Hezekiah Calvin, and other former and current students accused him of subjecting Native Americans to disproportionate amounts of manual labor. In 1769, perhaps due to concerns about corporal punishment, the Oneida withdrew all their children from Moors. When Wheelock relocated in Hanover in 1769, only 2 Native American students came with him, and it became clear that Wheelock's focus was on Dartmouth and that Dartmouth was for white students. So that right there tells you he was for white students, not for the darker ones in Connecticut. After Wheelock's death in 1779, Moore's Indian Charity School receded further into the background on John Wheelock. His father's reluctant successor stopped taking Indian students. Some Native American students were enrolled in Moore's until 1850, when the school unofficially closed. Now, these are the sources, and I want to give you the a copy of this little article because I'm gonna read something else. Okay. Let me stop this one and Go to it. Let me see. I think it's this one. There's a couple of things. Okay. Okay, here we go. Now, Elijah Wheelock. Elijah Wheelock, born April 22nd, 1711 to April 24th, 1779, was an American congressional minister, orator, and educator in present-day Columbia, Connecticut, for 35 years before founding Dartmouth College in New Hampshire. He had tutored Sampson Occum, a Mohegan, who became a Presbyterian minister and the second Native American to publish writings in English. Before founding Dartmouth, Wheelock founded and ran the Moores Charity School in Connecticut to educate Native Americans. The college was primarily for the sons. It was for the sons of American colonists. Elijah Wheelock was born in Windham, Connecticut, to Ralph Wheelock and Ruth Huntington, who had a prosperous farm of 300 acres. He is the great-grandson of the first teacher of the first free school in the United States, see Dedham, Massachusetts, the Reverend Ralph Wheelock. In 1733, he graduated from Yale, having won the first award of the Dean Berkeley donation for distinction in classics. He continued his theology studies at Yale until he was licensed to preach in May 1734. So isn't that interesting how these colleges go way back to 1734? I don't want to read that. I could stop reading that, but I want to read one more thing. I think it's right here. Yes, this is it. Hey, you guys, I really have to take a ladies' break. I'll be really quick because I've been drinking a lot of water. After I read this last one, then we'll go into dialogue of why I am the way I am about Moors. So give me a minute, you guys. All right, I'll be right back. I gotta go. Thank you guys so much for the patience. Who had to go? Okay, so let me read this last document and then I'm going to get into vibing about why I continue to have the feelings that I have towards this whole more thing. And it's not dividing the community. I just don't agree with shit. And I'm really sticking to that. Let me go here. Um I think it's this one. So a matter, and this is an article, and it's a matter of absolute necessity. Okay. Um, Elijah Wheelock in Moore's Indian School. Moore is another person, as we know. Okay. So in here, this article is saying, I don't know why. I hope it's not too blurry for you guys, but I'll blow it up a little bit. It just fair use. It's just an article. All right. One of the many programs designed to educate Native Americans, we're gonna dash the hijack because you know that they were just not called Native Americans back in that time. In the colonial period, especially in the colonial period. Moore's Indian Charity School, founded by Elijah Wheelock in 1754, was the most ambitious. Moore's was large, well organized, and publicized. It was also founded on the premise that Indians would make better missionaries than their Anglo counterparts, meaning the white people, the Anglo counterparts. The exhibit examines Wheelock's educational philosophy, the daily life of Indian students at Moore's Charity School, including the hardships students face adapting to the English way of life, as well as the little discussed experience of women students at the school. The exhibit also explores the outcomes of Wheelock's educational experiment, from successes like Samson Acum to the failures of those who returned to an indigenous lifestyles. Right there is telling you that a lot of them didn't like this shit. A lot of Indians, they was used to their own customs. That's why they was like, no, a lot of Indians did not want to, live that type of lifestyle. These Christianity lights lifestyles. The exhibition, curated by Sherman Wall with assistance from Peter Carney and Barbara Krieger, was on display in the class of 1965 galleries from December 2013 to February 2014. Now, one of the programs designed to educate Native Americans in the colonial period, Moore's Indian School, founded by Elijah Wheelock, was the most ambitious. Moors were I already read that. Moors grew out. Oh, wait a minute. I'm gonna read it again, y'all, because I think it's adding a little bit more. Case one, Moore Indian Charity School. Of the many programs designed to educate Native Americans in the colonial period, Moore's Indian Charity School, founded by Elijah Wheelock in 1754, was the most ambitious. Moore's was well organized, large, and well publicized. It was also founded on the premise Indians would make better missionaries than their Anglo counterparts, and because Indian missionaries could be supported for half the cost of English missionaries. They spoke the Indian languages and they were also accustomed to Indian lifestyles. That's a fact. We're accustomed to our own people. They can't hide the truth. Moores grew out of Wheelock's experience tutoring his first student, a Mohegan named Samson Acum. But Wheelock largely felt the plan was divinely inspired. Located in Lebanon, Connecticut, the school was named for its chief benefactor, Joshua Moore, who donated a house and 2 acres of land. So now you know the school is not Moore's. It's just the school was named after his benefactor, whose name was Joshua Moore. Like other schools of its kind, the Indian boys who attended the charity school were separated from their native culture. Right there, showing you right there how they wanted to separate our lifestyle. Unlike other schools, they were given a classical education that included, in addition to Bible studies, the study of Latin and Greek. Indian girls also received schooling, but attended academic classes only 1 day a week. Their other training focused on household arts they would need to support the Christian brethren. By 1768, about 50 students had studied at the school and 15 returned to their homes as missionaries, schoolmasters, or assistants to non-Indian ministers. When Elijah Wheelock realized that his plan of sending missionaries to Indian homelands to educate and convert Indians was not working as he desired, he began to move in new directions. In 1769, he received a charter for a new school, which would be named for William, second Earl of Dartmouth. Wheelock would later be appointed Dartmouth College's first president. Moores relocated to Hanover, New Hampshire. So he moved the school to New Hampshire. Continue on as a sort of feeder school for Dartmouth, educating both Indian and English students who were not prepared to take on college level studies. In 1756, letter to Reverend Whitfield, Elijah Wheelock describes his disapproval over the state of neglect that has led to what he describes as piteous state of the Indian natives of this continent. Wheelock believes the only solution to the problem of the Indians is to educate and spread the gospel among them, which would hopefully keep them from a life of hunting and rambling. Just wanted to stop and change the shit that we do. The original passport for Indian use on their journey from Bethel, New Jersey to Elijah Wheelock's charity school. The passport combines on a single sheet of paper a letter and diagonally placed travel directions. The left side of the itinerary was 27 place names, beginning with Bethel at the bottom of the page and Lebanon at the top. Each place name is complemented on the right side by a name of reference where the boys could ask for assistance, food, and shelter. But I'm I don't even want to go into the other stuff, but what I'm gonna do, oh shoot. Oh darn. Wait a minute, y'all. What I'm gonna do, you guys, I'm gonna copy it and stop here because it's really a good read. I rather much rather get into what I'm talking about. But I share that story because I didn't even learn about somebody with the last name Moore who a school was named after. Okay. So again, they spoke about a guy with the last name Moore, okay, whose a school was named after him, but he taught Indian students. So I don't want nobody because this is how dirty these Moors really can get at times. Okay. They'll come in and grab that and try to switch and say, see, we were Moors and they was calling us Moors then. No, no, fuck no. That's the last name of a white guy from Britain, Anglo-Saxon, who they named the school after. So I hope we got that. But This whole thing about us being Moors, I'm not standing with. There's not enough evidence, so I reject it fully. But that should be respected, okay? And I should not be humiliated, and I should not be persecuted because I don't believe the shit. And that's a fact. I don't. They spoke about Indians in that whole fucking document. And that's all I know down here in Connecticut. All right. And I'm just tired of them trying to switch this shit to fit their directives. You will not do that to that document because it's a fact. Now, yesterday, I was like really scalded by Moors, including A1. He even said, how you gonna call yourself my sister and then you vote for Y2K? And I'm like, well, wait a minute. We're still learning, basically, in my head. We're still learning every day. And just because this guy is a diehard Pan African, I'm not just supposed to believe shit he presents. Okay. And I think that's a little disingenuous. Okay. Because the talk wasn't about Africans. The whole debate was about, are Moors from America? All right. There was not enough evidence to convince me that Moors are from America. Not because I dislike Moors, because that's not true. There's a lot of them I fucking dislike and I just will not deal with. And that's a fact. And I'm sure they feel that way about me too. There's a lot of fucking Moors in here that I don't like. And I don't fuck with them. I don't say nothing to them. If I'm silenced from you, it's because, and y'all know how I am. And all people that know me know I'm this way, even white people. If I don't fuck with you, I don't ever say nothing to you. I just stay quiet and I isolate. I don't even respond when they talk to me. But in this instance, I felt that YK body bagged A1. Okay? And that has nothing to do with the love I have for my brother A1. I felt he got body bagged. Okay? That's my opinion. And I'm not the only one that felt that way. There's a lot of Indians that was in there that agree the same. But because of our hardcore love and respect for him, some Indians just won't pick or say nothing because they don't want to get him upset. But I'm from the North like A1, and we're the same. I don't give a fuck if you get upset. And that's his attitude too. A1 and I have the same attitude about feelings. So you're not going to get that from me. If I'm just as arrogant as you are, you're not going to get it from me. So he knows this shit. He knows how we Northern women are. Not to say that the Southern sisters are some soft, laid back sisters. I'm not saying that at all about my Southern sisters because they're getting your ass too. Last I checked, Big Mama checked your ass at the door. She didn't care if you was the East, West, North, South, or Midwest. But I'm just saying, in these years and these days, as women, we stand up and speak our mind, and what comes out our mouth, you might not like it as men. Some men are turned off by that because they get into these religious cultures, okay, where the woman should be quiet, cook dinner, raise the kids, wear rollers in her hair and slippers, be pregnant, and just be a sex slave. That's not me. That's not me. I'm not into those religions. And I'm not a little timid, humble woman. I can't be a little timid, humble, timid woman just based on the environment I grew up in. So the environment that I grew up in is a very defensive and offensive environment. Many of us come out of that environment to make a better life. And that's what I did. But when you're raised from birth to be on the defense and defend yourself, I'm a result of that. I am. I'm a result. So I would never make someone's religious code. I wouldn't be a great wife to someone that's in those type of religious codes. Being Hebrew Israelites, I I'd be in jail. So it's difficult for me to be some little humble lady when I'm surrounded in an environment with some rude ass niggers that I grew up with. It's hard to change. And I don't need no anger management class. I really don't. People think, oh, you just need anger management. No, the fuck, I don't. All I need people to do is be respectful to me, and I'm respectful to you. I My first choice is to be humble and friendly with people. But there's people in this world period that just likes to ride on that shit, ride on your humbleness and take your weakness for kindness. Seriously. So I am the way I am. I am. I'm gonna be in my 60s soon. And I ain't fucking changing for nobody. I'm not. I'm at the point I'm at the age that you call set in your ways. I'm not going to change. I'm gonna go out a mouthy ass Generation X kid, but that's a good thing because the generations before me now they're tougher than me, and I believe we're going back to our old ways of being. But whether here or there, to make a long story short, I found that Y2K body bagged A1, and he didn't like that. He says he's not mad. He says he's not angry about it. But that's bullshit because if you jump up on a panel, we already had an after party, all right? And he expressed his feelings and his personal thoughts about us Indians in the community that, got shit to say on about him and stuff. And look, I wasn't here 15 fucking years ago. I came here 5 years ago. I still be in his chat because he does lecture on a lot of really exciting things. But just because I disagree with you doesn't mean that I, got a problem with you. I just disagree. And and he should know, we are at war. I'm not the type of girl that you could drag in your group of people. I'm not a groupie. I think for myself. And I learned that many, many years ago, not to jump on bandwagons. I hate bandwagons. I always think for myself, and I don't let nobody lead me into the point where I can't make decisions. Just like I never like being around people and they adults still do this dumb shit. Oh, you're around her? Oh, no, 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 I can't be with you. I don't give a fuck. That's childish to me. That's some sixth grade bullshit. And I don't like nobody looking at me crazy because I'm associating with people. Okay? I take YK the Truth work as very good, but I disagree about us being Africans. And he knows that. Facts. I'll never. Now, if that debate yesterday was about are we Africans and African Americans, I have a whole different attitude. I'm like, oh no, you don't. If YK was saying we African, if that would be a whole nother thought. Seriously, I'd have been like, we ain't no damn Africans, YK. I'd have been up there on his throat. But that wasn't the case. It was, are we Moors? And I'm not no fucking Moor. And I'm still not. And I don't care. And the women are just as worse. They are. I find them to be the ones that are humble. And I'm seriously are humble to the man and feel subservient and all that old shit. I'm serious. I find them to be some dumb bitches, miserable, who don't cam up and who just like going around fucking with you. And I'm serious. Serious. I don't fuck with. I don't. I'll cuss them out in a New York minute because they're disrespectful and they're cowards because they come in YouTube under fake names and harass me. So I bark back at them bitches because I am a changed woman. I have changed myself from the way I was many, many years ago. Okay. Because I was some dumb ass chick in the hood when I was younger, though. If I was 16, 17, 18, 19, as long as I've been working in government, I am a changed woman when I tell you I am. When I was 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, when I started working, government jobs, I was like 23. I'm serious and I'm not even going to lie. I would literally, when my girls, I was transitioning out the defensive lifestyle. Seriously. And I was 23, and one of my girls called me and said, yo, he hit me or he did this. My ass would put in time to take a 2 or 3 hour break because I had PL time or whatever time I had. And I would literally leave work and go beat the shit out of somebody and come right back after work and be the professional black girl that acts white. And nobody never knew. My boss wouldn't in a million years wouldn't have thought that I just came back from a fight. That's how good I was. I knew how to turn the cameras on and off in 2 seconds. I did. Seriously. I did. I would leave, and I'm honest to admit that I was not working for state government then. But I literally did because I told you white men and women liked me when I was younger and they liked being around me because I was crazy as fuck. I lit up their office because some people were just white and strict. And the white people in there, I told you I got fired like 5 times. And one job, they fired me. And 6 months later, I filled out an application for the same job and they hired me back. I was like, this shit is funny. They did, because I was that good of an employee. But I was in between that transitioning from the hood lifestyle to being a woman. When shit was funny, I was funny. And I used to have fun, but the guy died. So I left. I quit because I thought I can't work. It really bothered me that the guy that fired me, they fired me and hired me back 6 months later because I wanted the job. I did the shit to be funny, but he hired me back. And that shit was fun. I don't know why. The gay guy called me. They had the gay guy call me and say, for some reason, you won't be reporting to her because the lady didn't like me. She didn't. But the big boss liked me that everybody was scared to go up. I told y'all that story already when I was young. And it wasn't in my state job. This was private sector. But it was this white lady in there. She did not like me, but she knew that the big boss liked me. And I didn't know the big boss liked me. It wasn't no sexual thing. I think it's because I reminded him of his wife. That's what it was. Because his wife was she cursed like a horse, but she's a white woman. And he would never bring her to the office because she was embarrassing like me. But I would say things people would want to say. Telling y'all this story one more time because a lot of y'all that's in here, it's 800 of y'all in here, didn't hear this story. When I was growing into my professional life, I got fired from this job. I'm not going to say what job it is because if I tell you what company it is, you're going to laugh. And it was a really successful corporate company. Okay, it was an insurance company. I'm just not telling you which one. And I was hired as an executive secretary. And the white lady in there did not like me. Okay. I just couldn't understand why she didn't like me. But she couldn't, she fired me. Right. And I didn't give a fuck because I would say things. I'm like, why y'all so quiet? And I went and she fired me. So I was just like shocked. The bitch didn't like me. And I knocked on the big boss. I didn't give a fuck about going up the corporate scale. That was not me. I'm going to the big dog and see why I'm fired. So I did just that. Back then, they didn't walk you out the door like they do today for security reasons. I could have been a crazy black girl from the hood to go at a knife, but I knocked on his door and he didn't respond. I knew he was sitting his ass in there, so I opened the door. And I went in there and sat down. You know, I was a wild black girl. I never forget this. I said, well, I don't understand why I'm fired. She's telling me that I was being unprofessional and stuff. And I said, all I do is like to have fun with people. And, I would give her mouth back. I would say, well, it didn't seem like it was a problem for me. Why is it a problem for you? And all the white people, you know, would be laughing when I talk back to this woman and stuff. And this bitch came to work one day she went to the tanning parlor. Okay. And she came to work my complexion the next day. That bitch must have sat in that tanning salon so long. I don't know what her problem was. But eventually, for insubordination, I got fired. And I went, like I told you, into the office. Nobody would go in. It was like the forbidden office to walk in. I walked in that bitch. And the guy, he was fixing his tie. And he was about red. It's my fucking shirt, white guy. And I said, well, I don't know why she fired me. I do my work. And everything she gives me, I do. She gets mad because I always find a simpler way to do it. And she don't like it. And I'm just, and he said, well, I tell you what, why don't you go out like the white people do? Why don't you take the rest of the day off today? And I'll get to the bottom of the problem and find out what happened. Okay. And I was like, okay. So that at that point, I was young and dumb because, I thought I would be back to work the next day or so. That motherfucker never called me back. I was like, okay. So they really wanted to get my ass out. So I was collecting unemployment, because I worked there a whole year. I had to deal with this bitch. So 6 months later, I saw my job posted. Okay. Because back during that time, it was in the newspapers. Okay. So I saw the position and I sent my resume back to them but then you had to mail them in. Okay. Because we was not. So I mailed that bitch in. So the gay guy, and I was cracking up. I was just sitting home. I don't know what I was doing. So the gay guy from the office called me and he says, well, I'm not going to say his name, wants you back at the office. Apparently, I don't, know why, but if you could come in and and just come to the office for the appointment. So I came in and that girl was still there. She was mad as hell. She was kind of shocked too, very shocked. So I went in and I sat down with the gay guy. They put all the shit on the gay guy to deal with me. But I went in and I filled the paper out and he says, you're not going to be reporting to, I'm not going to say her name. You're going to be reporting to the CEO, president and CEO. He seems to like you a lot. And I was like, what? He was like, don't ask me any questions, please. I think his little ass was sitting in there watching what was going on because he had a camera in the office and seeing me put this bitch in her place. He probably couldn't stand her. Okay. So she was probably in there for screwing somebody to get to the position she was in. So I became his executive assistant. And all that shit was funny. What you need, baby? Oh. And so he says you're going to be reporting to him. And I said, oh, that bitch was mad. So finally, because I would make him nervous a little bit. And he would jump, I guess because I was loud and I was like, so are we going to sit down and meet? And he would fix his tie. Oh, yeah, sure. Come in. So I went in and showed him the things that I would be doing and how I would do his presentations and stuff, and he really liked it. And he was so happy. I made him feel comfortable. And I think because nobody would literally walk in his office and knock on his door. Nobody would. Now, I don't know why. Everybody was like frantic. And so I would eat lunch with the gay guy. And he said, well, truth be told, everybody's been wanting to get in her ass. You just did what we won't do. And when you walked in the office, a couple of us ran in the bathroom was laughing because all the white people was laughing at me when I got fired. But in the manner in which I got fired, it was funny, not laughing at me because they didn't like me, because I really told this lady off. And I said things to her that you're not supposed to say, right? I did not say nice things to her. And I didn't use bad curse words, but I put her in her place. So anyway, I was doing my work for him. She was mad as hell. Do you know? It was at that point that I learned to control my behaviors with insubordination. I did, because I worked with him for like 7 years, and then he passed away. He did, and he was young. And I don't even want to talk about that, but he passed away, and I did speak to his wife and stuff. She was so nice. She was really like me too. She was just a white lady. And she's, came to the job because it was his company, insurance company. And she said, he really, really liked you. And I know you feel bad. It's going to be okay. I'm strong. But you were his favorite. And she told me she knew all about me because he would go home and talk about me. And I guess he just did not like getting close to people. But maybe because I was like his wife, attitude at home, because she was funny. So anyway, this is go back to when he was alive. And, that was the beginning when I began being professional. I said, I got to be good because I don't really want to lose this job. I'm really learning a lot. And, he would send me to classes to strengthen my computer skills. And I was really good at computers, really good, especially software. And that's when I really took a great interest in application development and working with software engineers. But it was really a great place. And that's when I learned to really conduct my behavior in a professional atmosphere. That was all I was lacking in my career, was my professional behavior. I had a hard time. You could take people out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of people. The people out of the hood gotta want to be take it out of them. And that was the turning point of when I learned to isolate and not open my mouth, because I know what's going to come out of my mouth. It's not going to be good. So meanwhile, this woman, the white lady, she's crazy. You know what she did? She hired us. She needed a secretary because she really did the work she had to do. She hired a secretary, right? She was just a regular secretary though. And guess what? She hired a black mouthy girl. Why did she do that? Why? Because I think she was liking the boss I had, and she wanted to impress him. So she hired, I guess in her head, he said, oh, so I'm thinking this is what she's thinking. Oh, so he likes mouthy black girls. Let me find one. So she got this really hood black girl. And I'm not lying. This chick came to work with yellow patent leather boots on. She was like dressed for going to happy hour after work. She did not wear professional business casual. So she hired this mouthy girl. So after a while, this girl was like worse than me. She was like, well, whatever. I don't care. And I was like, oh my God, she gonna get fired like I did, and she gotta be good. So I'm sitting there watching. like my behavior, but she was worse than me, y'all. She was worse. When I tell you worse, you know, worse than worse. And I'm like, what was coming out of her mouth, and she would throw stuff on her desk and stuff and walking by in her heels. And it was orange. I'd be looking down the aisle like this. I was like, I said, "Oh God, no, don't say it. You gonna get fired. Don't say nothing else. You gonna get fired." She eventually got fired. But this chick, they didn't play around with her. They wait till she left. And they call her at home and tell her do not return to work. Because this chick was off the chain. I said, oh my God, I can't believe I looked at her. But at least I was funny with mine. Because when I was, getting in people's butt, all the white people laughed at me. They was laughing. Because it was me, the gay guy sat behind me. And I'm saying that because I don't want to say their names. And there was a third row. And there was a guy who sat next to me. Of course, now the black girl left. They got fired. I'm back to being the only black girl in the department. So there's a white guy sitting next to me. He was a software engineer. There's 3 of them. And he would ask questions. And I would say, why are you being so nosy? And everybody in the row would be laughing. And I responded to him. And I said, things that came out my mouth is things they wanted to say. Instead, I should use better choice words. Well, why are you inquiring? Why would you want to know this? I said, why are you being so nosy? They would be dying. So when I did get fired, they really missed me that 6 months. So when I came back, they was like really, really happy. They was like, oh no, she's back. But he made sure he's keeping her away from us because I sat outside his office. I was that bitch. Okay? I was that bitch. That's why I act the way I act in corporate now, because I always was like the head executive, whatever. And I really liked that job. And I continue to like that job. I just enhanced my skills in grad school and stuff. So that was my years of being fired. So this is why, to make a long story short, I know I'm way off topic, but this is why we as women in the North, it's us Indians, we speak the way we do to our men. They made us that way. They've done a lot of mean things to us, and it caused us to be angry black women. And it comes from a lot of our men exercising the behaviors that they did. Getting us pregnant, getting the next girl pregnant, and all that other stuff, whatever came with it of the life. I'm not saying all our men are bad, but for the most part, hood niggas is just horrible. Sorry. But this is why we have our attitudes and we talk shit, because we were left with the kids. We were left to be mom and dad. So we have these attitudes, and it's very difficult for us to be humble in a relationship and make marriage vows like you wish to obey. When I got married, I was like, do not add obey in my marriage. I told that to when I got married to the pastor. I said, do not list obey, because I'm not going to obey that part of the Bible. When you're reading, me and my husband got married, I'm not obeying nobody. And he left that part out, and it was funny as hell too. So that's that. So anyway, if you really just listen to A1's word, it was full of shit. It's a bunch of crap he was saying. And I thought it was kind of hurtful, because he's like, oh, you gonna believe a Pan-African? I'm like, yo, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, because I don't believe Moors are from America. So obviously I'm going to go with the person who's proven that Moors are not from America. A1 didn't give enough proof to me that they are. He kept reading words, like, you got to look at it. But it wasn't more convincing to me than what Y2K presented. And yeah, he made jokes and stuff, but his shit that he presented, that's some real shit. So he gets mad And then Chief Holiday with his little sneaky butt, and I'm mad at Chief too. So now this time I'm mad at you, Chief. Chief Holiday always teach us. Um, it's a misnomer. So if it's a misnomer, how come it was never used? And you know, I don't believe that because there was a time when Chief didn't believe that Moors was not from America. Then he came out, okay, it's a misnomer. I don't find the proof shown that it's a misnomer. And I tell Chief. And so he A1, I think his real problem was with me was because I believed what a Pan African said. That was his whole point. You believed the Pan African over me. And I remember before when at Power was giving the debates with the Moors against us. And this is what always stick to me. And a while ago when BAP was given debates and they made it difficult for us to pick. Because I said, if I pick what the Moor is saying, that means I believe we Moors, and I don't believe it. He said that's BAP was like, hey, I think that was the debate with YK and A1 before. Was it? Or was it with PNF? Who is a more? I think it could have been with PNF and Y2K because Y2KS was debating everybody. I think it was with PNF and Y2K. I can't remember. Oh, it was PNF. And I said, you're not giving us a choice here. It's not fair. Because at that time, what? Yeah, it was. And I'm like, oh my God, no way. But in that debate, it was him against PNF. I think PNF was proving the Moors were here, and YK was proving that they're Africans, and that he won. He ended up literally winning. But this time was their real flip for script. It was A1 against Y2K with a whole different topic. Are Moors from America? And that's something I know I don't believe. And I was really looking, and I was so upset because he just went in on, oh, the Indians, you coming over, y'all always been that way towards me and stuff. And it's just like a fucking complete lie. We just disagree on one thing, that I don't believe that we were called Moors here. Okay. Everything else that he showed, A1 shows, we all really love because I always like to watch him when he talks about structures. And he knows this shit. A1 is just being a bully. And then he's saying, I'm being a bully and stuff. I'm gonna get to that part later, but that's just not true. He didn't, A1 was not literally being fair. He wasn't. Because when I met A1 5 years ago, that niggas was saying he was an Indian because I remember his he don't use the same avatar. Okay, that Anu L stuff, that is only like 2 years old. Before that, it was we knew A1 to be autonomous one and the Indian. That I knew who L shit is only 2 years old with A1. And I remember when he was teaching us, he was saying he was Indian, American Indian. He told us about his mother being American Indian, and that I think somewhere in his history, one of his Indian ancestors got raped by a white guy. I remember this. I don't forget shit, y'all. Any of my friends will tell you that. And so we didn't see him as a Moor. And he was like, I'm studying the Moor stuff. Back then, he was studying. And then he finally came out and said, I'm a Moor. I guess because he got more confidence. But before that, I ain't hear him talking about him being no more. Unless I must have missed out. Because I remember when he came on our panel, it was me and Chief Glennis. And he was saying how he went to get his identity fixed and stuff. And Indian not tax. And I asked him, did you have to say that you was a Moor or Indian to get Indian? He said, I said, say I was an Indian. I said, okay then. So what's the problem? Why? It's just a misnomer. Okay, so if it's a misnomer, then you shouldn't be mad that we calling ourselves Indians. That's my thing. And then um so that was that. So then he got, I think A1 thinks about stuff and gets himself all mad again. And you know what? Chief Holiday does the same thing. Chief Holiday does the same thing. And I think this time, this is where Chief is being a little disingenuous because he even said himself, I swear, I'm going to go back and try to find them old videos. Chief Holiday's butt said, ain't nobody more African, was more African than me. I was a warrior. And he says this. He used to say that faithfully. Ain't nobody more African than me ever. Ever more African. Chief, that comes out of his mouth strong. He used to say that. And I'm like, well, I'll beat them. So if Chief Holiday admits when he was doing this Pan-African thing that nobody was more African than he was with that dashiki. And then he did more research on his history, and then he transitioned, into who he really is. He's goddamn Choctaw Indian. That's fact. And he let that African stuff go. But when he did this, when Chief transitioned to being his American Indian or Aboriginal, he was that when I met him. But he always would tell us his story about his African way of life. But by the time when I met Chief, he was already a hardcore Aboriginal. Hardcore. So, but he shared that part of his life. So now I threw it out there. It's like, okay, YK is very young. He's only like 39 or 40. Okay. He's an 80s baby, literally. And I'm like, well, this man is only missing one thing, YK. The truth about his history. YK is not African. He already explained to me live on how he came to the resolution that he's African. A DNA test, and he don't know no people in Africa. Okay, he's 39, and nobody in this family never told me he was African. So he's going through the African phase. And so I threw out the Chief. I was like, well, Chief, because one thing I can say about YK, that nigga can debate. He is an excellent fucking debater. I don't care if it's comicized up, but he can debate. He's very good. It's a strategy. Some people have debating strategy and some people don't. And I think that's what Cuddy was pointing out. Nigga, you shouldn't debate because A1 is not a good debater. He's not. He's better off being a teacher or a lecturer. But I'm not here to tell nobody who they should be. But I'm just saying the skill that I see in people and the gift. A1 has an excellent gift of being a lecturer. He's much better on his grind when he's not being challenged, but a lecturer. So I'm thinking I'm almost putting all my money on that he just needs to be a lecturer and teacher because he's humble and he has a great attitude when you're teaching him. That's why I like to watch his channel because I can sit back and watch A1 teach for hours. And as long as he's on that panel by himself and nobody up there to interrupt him, he's a good teacher. Someone coming after him and interrupting him when he's teaching, he gets furious. And that's the sign of being a lecturer and a teacher. And that's what he really needs to stick with. That's his gift. Now, on the other hand, he's not a great debater because it makes him angry because he's thinking in his head all the research that he's ever done, being for over 20 years of our history. He's not a good debater. I could lose a fucking debate and won't even care. I'm serious. I love to all people, Philly dog. But that a lot of that comes with a lot of people don't like me too. You gotta remember that too. A lot of bitches don't like my ass. A lot of niggas don't like my ass. So I'm never gonna win in nobody's debate. Facts. Me? Oh hell no. But I don't give a fuck about that. I know my skill. My skill is lecturing and teaching. Debate, I'm like A1, I'm ready to fight your ass after if you talk shit. And that's how A1 is. So, back to Chief Holiday. I thought Chief was being disingenuous because he, like he said, nobody was more Pan-African than him. So YK being an awesome ass debater, this is where he's gonna be a master. And I said, we're at war. He's young. This little Negro is going to go through exactly what you went through, Chief Holiday. You don't believe people could change? And it was like, no, he been doing this shit for 7 years. And da, 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 da. I just don't believe that because there's a side in YK's energy that I connected with, which leads me to believe that eventually he's going to come around just like Chief Stubborn Butt did and be this fucking warrior Indian. Right now he's struggling with it. And I know at night when this little ass go to sleep at night, he's like, well, maybe this, well, maybe that. And he reads a lot of my stuff. But he's so busy going to try to debunk it. But that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to find information to debunk the person who's trying to tell you who you are. And that's what he's doing as a Pan-African. But it's going to get to the point where he's going to give in. Because my shit it's a wrap. He's going to find himself folding. And once he do, just like Chief did, Holiday, transition out of that Pan-African shit or whatever he was. That's the same thing that's going to happen to YK because he's still young. He's still young and he's seeing where shit already is not making no sense. He's questioning all his shit. And let me tell you something. He's the era after Chief Holiday. When his ass transitioned to be Indian, and once you become your Indian self, you ain't changing back. You're not. That he's gonna be the fiercest fucking debater and one of the fiercest debaters and somebody to be respected up in this bitch. He gonna make the worst Indian ever in a debate. He gonna fuck people up because he's learning both sides, the Pan Boo Boo shit and the Indian stuff, even though he's getting beat with the Indian shit against his Pan-African shit, he's still learning both sides and he's young, like your ass was, Chief Holiday. And when he transitions, it's going to be a fucking rap. Ain't nobody going to be a fuck with him. By that time, I'm going to be like 69 years old and shit. Or in my 60s, saying, I watched this young man transition. And he going to be a bad motherfucker. Ain't nobody going to be able to mess with him. He's going to be wicked. Because his skill is debating. That's his skill. He's a debater. He's a fucking debater. And that's why I paid to watch it because I really, really like how YK debates. Now, I don't believe his African shit, but his debating technique depends on what topic it is. If I feel you're a winner, you're a winner. And it is what it is. He proved to me that Moors are not from America, in my opinion. So that's the part that A1 didn't like about, and I really upset him. He got upset, but he'll get over it. He will. That's how Sagittarius do. He's going to get over it, and he's going to see his wrong, and he's going to come back and apologize. Seriously. Because he thinks I'm wrong, and I'm not wrong. And he said I went way overhand when, okay, now let me get to the part where I got so upset. Otherwise, I wouldn't have got upset. This is the part that fucked me up. It was 70 people in there that did not pay for tickets. All right. I didn't even pay that any mind because I don't be fucking caring. But BAP, the host of the debate, when he said, BAP came out and said, oh man, I think he was kind of upset himself too. He was like, only 37 people purchased tickets. And I was like, what? So that means 70 people are fucking voting. And I said, that's wrong. We all pay for this damn ticket. And I said, I was already angry because I knew, and a lot of Indians that was in the chat knew, and I guess Pan-Africans and Indians in the chat knew that YK won that damn debate because we was all saying how he was smashing shit. And when the figure came out, I was just so upset. I just felt that we were bamboozled. And so I got so upset that I jumped up on BAP's after party panel and I said, I want my fucking money back. Because in this community, I don't care whose channel I be on, I be sending them cash apps, supporting their channel because I have that much respect for them. Everybody. And I said, this is one time I'm taking my fucking money back. And I told BAP and A1, I said, I want my damn money back. No, because this was not fair. It wasn't fair. And I think, I made a suggestion. I said, if it's going to be a debate, the only people who should be voting are the ones who pay for the tickets. And a lot of Aboriginals was in that chat. And a lot of them, and I understand this tactic, and I believe this to the core of my being. A lot of Aboriginals was either in the chat too and watching, and they refuse to debate the truth. But I'm not a coward. They refuse to debate the truth. They'll watch it, but they're not going to debate it. Not because they're physically scared of A1. It's because they don't want to admit to A1 that he lost because he's been in YouTube so long teaching all of us. Okay, like I said, I've only been in it 5 years, but everybody else was in here for years and years and years like him and stuff. And they don't want to just vote against somebody you love, and love gets in the way. Not with Sister Bethy, and A1 knows this. And he, A1 generally and humbly do not disrespect women. He don't cuss at them. Now, when that motherfucker get really pissed, he'll cuss a bitch out. Call her, she's gonna be the worst bitch in the world when he finished with her. Because you got to get him that angry, but he will. But for the most part, he will not curse out a woman. And he don't curse me out. We had one argument, but he never cursed me and called me bad names and stuff. But I just think that debate was awesome. That was a fucking... if I had to watch that debate again, I would watch it again with just them two on the panel debating. I would watch it again because it was a good debate, and I thought both of them was funny. And I'll continue to watch their debates, but I just feel that, and I can't tell BAP how to run his debates. Y'all know that. Nobody can tell BAP what to do because he's gonna do what he wants to, and I don't blame him. He's the BAP, the debate. He's the debate, moderator. We agreed because he's the best person for it. But I think that if lesser people, the only people that should vote are the ones that actually pay for the tickets, because that's what we paid for, to see it, and so we can make our own personal votes. I think next time, if he's going to be there, we're vulnerable to let people in there to watch that didn't pay. We should be able to email our vote to him so he can see on the list all the people that paid. Just the ones that paid should vote, email their vote to BAP for real. And so he could say, well, 47 people voted, 46 people voted for A1, 45 voted for Y2K, or vice versa. I think that would be fair. on some real shit. Because people do some dirty shit when they cast votes. They be having like 3 and 4 YouTube names, and you could switch to different channels and go in there and make votes. All kinds of dirty shit. So that was my whole spill. And to this day, I still don't believe that we are Moors. But I'll open my panel. Hey, Bright Mo DZ, all y'all up in here. Copper Aborigine, Straight Smoke, St. Louis, Juice, Sammy, Bad Saint, hey baby girl. And y'all, thank y'all again for them. I don't call people's names out when they make donations, but I'm telling you, I'm humbled by it. And I love y'all and I appreciate them donations to our nation. I do. I appreciate it. It's so awesome. St. Louis. Who else is in here? D. Allen Warren. I see 69 Trans AM Hustles. Sis, remember they used to hate. I stayed in India around all of them, and now they're getting it. But I can't remember who this is. I know this 69 Trans AM Hustles. I don't know why I can't remember. And then Tayshawn, I asked about him the other day. So I know somebody called him so he come back to the community because I haven't seen Hey, Kiowa. Bright Mo DZ, Christopher. Gosh, I didn't say hi to everybody. Everybody watching. Smash that like button. Lady Moon, the beautiful. The beautiful. Can't touch this. Indian Red. Okay. I don't think I ever met Indian Red. Well, if you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. I think that's all. Indian Red. That's pretty. The Smokers Lounge. An Air Quest Indian. Are you a Moor? Open to knowledge. OTK. His little butt need to go to sleep. OTK need to go to sleep. He's starting to get like Q Butter. He be out all night. I be watching it, but I fall asleep because I just can't hang. You getting like Q Butter. OTK. You are. He be out all night. But hey, Rodney, see you time 67. He's getting like Q Butter, but at least OTK's channel was worth watching because Q Butter, I'm pissed with that nigga. I don't got nothing to say to him no more. Kahi, they be out all night. They the crazy people. They don't go to fucking sleep. Q Butter, his butter ass. But I'm gonna open the chat room for just a little while. You know, I mean, I would like to get your feedback on Lex Vortex is a big joke. He comes in here and try to make you think, hey, lady, thanks, lady. He comes in here and befriends me all the time and making me think he's going to be an Indian and stay one. And then he just don't. But Lex know who the hell he is. He's not no African. And I'm just so sure about Y2K is going to change. He's not gonna stay fucking African. He's not even gonna get sick of that shit. I'm telling you. Facts. I already feel it in the energy. He's not gonna stay being no damn African. I'm telling you right now. The only way he would is if one of his parents, mother or father, is really, really African from Africa. Facts. But I'll give y'all a few minutes to come up. If I don't get to you in the back right away, it's because I went for a little break. Okay, I'm about to be real bad. And don't be judging Sister Bethy for real. Don't judge me because I'm about to get real bad. I'm not a vegan. I'm not a vegetarian. I just eat. I'm Indian. I don't give a damn. I'm not no, I'm not a Muslim, but I'm getting ready to get myself ready for the Super Bowl to enjoy it with Willie because I did my YouTube live today. Um, we having pizza, and I buy the cheese pizza from the pizza place. I let them cook the goddamn pizza, but when they bring that pizza here, it'd be pepperonis and sausage on it, but I got to redo it up when it gets here, cause I'm throw my own onions on it when it gets here. I don't care if it's already cooked. And I'm getting ready to go put some slab bacon in the oven. Yes, a whole bunch of slab bacons, and then I'm gonna dry them off and stuff. I'm gonna drain them off, with the paper towels, and then I'm gonna rip them all up in little pieces because I'm gonna throw that shit on top of that pizza, and I'm gonna fuck that pizza up. I gotta make the pizza up to my expectation. So it has to be bought from real Italians. My pizza. I You have to be a real Italian. If you go to a place that's not real Italians in there cooking it, I'm not eating it. And I know when real Italians are cooking pizza. I know how it tastes. So he go gets these large pizzas. Nobody can cook my bacon the way I like it. Nobody. So, and I like slab bacon. I'm baking that shit. I don't care about my arteries. I don't have high blood pressure or clogged arteries. I love slab bacon and I love bacon on my goddamn pizza. And I gotta have onions. So I'm gonna let the Italians, real Italians, they gotta cook my pizza. I won't have it from nobody else. They're gonna make my pizza and they're gonna make my crust thick like I like it because I like to take my time eating the crust. But I can't wait. I'm going to cut my onions up. This is all for the Super Bowl. Cut my onions up real good. And when he brings the pizza home, I'm going to throw that good ass slab bacon that I made that's cooked to a T and nice and crunchy. I'm going to throw that in the oven on top of the pizza with the onions and let it heat back up again. And I'll tear that pizza up. Facts. So don't judge me because I ain't never said I was no vegan or vegetarian or none of that. Never. And I'm about to tear it up. I'm gonna eat a whole bunch of slices of pizza. Shut up, Christopher. I'm gonna tear it up. So I don't know, y'all. I don't have anything to say. It's 700 people over here. They must be watching me. All the Moors. I don't care if y'all are mad. I still don't believe that Moors are from America. They're not. They're just not. I think the Moors are white people. Well, Arabs and all that. I do. I really, really, really do. I feel that this is a situation where Indians from North America are stealing the race identity of the real Moors from out in the Middle East and Africa. This is what I think. I think they're being disingenuous. And I told y'all the feelings I have about Moors because all I learned about was the dirty, bad ones. Teaching you this UCC paperwork and all this bullshit. Dumb motherfuckers I can't stomach. And I really do hope they all go to jail. I do. Because that shit is horrible to get somebody into doing. I think it's just bad stuff. I do. And I hope they all go to jail. I do. I hope the government really starts cracking down on them putting these people teaching this shit in jail because they're really messing with vulnerable people. Our people are very vulnerable and they want money and they're just willing to do anything at this point. And that's why I don't like these Moor dudes with the license plates running around in the community in Connecticut. You walking around with them license plates that says I'm a driver, not a whatever. I'm a traveler, not a driver. Let me tell you something. In Connecticut, your ass is getting pulled over, your car is getting towed, and you're going to jail. So Connecticut is constitutional colonial state, and your ass going to jail. I be seeing this shit live happening in my hood, and they don't be playing. Connecticut don't play when it comes to that more shit. In Connecticut, I don't hear too many squatters in Connecticut like I hear them in the South and in the Midwest. Because in Connecticut, these Indians down here, you try to squat in their house, if or and shit, you're getting shot. The Indians in Connecticut will shoot your black ass. That's why we don't hear squatter stories in Connecticut. What we do hear is abandoned houses that's boarded up by the city. Crackheads, they go in there and live and do their little trick things. That's as much as we hear. But squatting in somebody's beautiful home that's away, the Indians in Connecticut will shoot your ass. They ain't calling the cops and saying, I got a squatter in my house. The Northern Indians are just beasts. You do that, the women in Connecticut, white women in Connecticut, and us, they're trained to shoot your ass if you come in their house. That's how the Indians, I'm telling you. So they got all these beautiful mansions in Connecticut. You go in there, you're getting shot. Even if your kid is off the chain, that off the chain kid gets taught as a little child. You know about that shooter. I ain't gonna say his name, but in Connecticut, they train the women to shoot and defend themselves. So we don't have squatter stories. If they are, they're buried in somebody's woods in the back of their house. They ain't calling the cops for shit. And that's a fact in Connecticut. That's how they get down. I keep telling you, the white women in Connecticut is just like the black women in Connecticut. I'm from the hoods. They're from the woods. You go out in the woods, fucking when they shoot you. You come in the hood, they gonna pistol whoop you. I'm telling you, a lot of white girlfriends that I chill with, and they don't fuck around. They don't care. Whole lot of white girls. They don't fuck around. They're daddies. They're the granddaughters of Uncle Bucky. I already told y'all who Uncle Bucky is. Uncle Bucky's the white man who got crackhead grandchildren, and they go steal their guns from Uncle Bucky and bring them to the niggas in the hood and sell them. I gave that whole scenario in my state's legislation teaching white people about, okay, yes, crackhead white kids come in the hood because they steal Uncle Bucky's guns. Uncle Bucky is probably an old fucking Hell's Angel. At this point, Uncle Bucky's a granddad now, and he's older. He's like in his 70s and 80s. And he got grandkids, and they're crackheads. They're on drugs. It's sad. Drugs has no color, okay? But they do steal their grandpa, Uncle Bucky's guns, all right? And they come to the hood and sell them to the drug dealers. These be some badass guns, yo. So I gave the scenario on how the suburbs ODS, they bring their ass to the hoods and buy drugs. And they do. And don't forget, the white girls are the granddaughters of Uncle Bucky. They will get Uncle Bucky's gun and bust your ass with a gun, a white girl. Just like our Pookie and Ray Ray mama. Well, white girls got Uncle Bucky as their grandfather from the hoods. Like I said, I'm from the hoods, and the white girls is from the woods. And they'll cap your ass, and in the hood will cap your ass. So just different. But I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. This was a great segment, so I hope the Moors that are watching really see where I'm coming from, because I'm like Smoke. We don't know who's who. I thought it was just one group of Moors. Now I'm learning that it's different. It's different divisions of them. And they was like, well, I'm not a member of the Moorish Science Temple. I'm like, well, how many is it? So apparently it's a lot of them going around, and they're really, really bad. So I don't know. It doesn't. It really doesn't. Whose life it affect? But anybody see? Oh, wait a minute. Anybody see Bruh Sanchez clown Umar talking about he got punched in the face by an alien when he was 9? I'm sorry, I just watched it. Oh, I gotta go. Maybe I'll go watch that until the Super Bowl come on. But yeah, biker dude, good people. I gotta go see that. I saw Brother Sanchez this morning or yesterday morning. I can't remember. He should be back home now. But I saw him in the morning stuck in Atlanta airport. His quick video, that shit was hilarious. I said, what he was like, he drunk, he missed his flight or something. And he's running around looking for a little blue bus. I said, for Bruh Sanchez, maybe it's a little yellow bus. He crazy, Brother Sanchez. But it was funny. But you guys, I'm about to get up out of here and go get myself ready for the Super Bowl. Willie's team is the 49ers, so we'll see what happens. Y'all, take it light. Have a wonderful day. Back to work tomorrow, and I got mad work to do when I do go to work. So I got mad work to do tomorrow. Mad work. Y'all take it easy, y'all. All right. I'm out. I'm out. Y'all have a wonderful one.